Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today's video is going to be my TBR for January 2023 chosen by TBR Alchemist. I am bringing back this board game for 2023. I only played it once really last year in 2022 because I was suffering with some mental health issues and of course work with reading and figuring everything out and that sort of thing. I decided to do a little bit more mood reading in 2022, which I definitely did some of. And the months where I did decide to build a TBR, we just build it regardless, and I didn't get to actually play my board game. And I want to actually play it religiously in 2023. I think that'd be a great tool for me to utilize, because one of the things that I learned in 2022 is I like having a TBR and knowing which set books I'm going to read. It stops me from starting books and not finishing them. In 2023, at least in January, I am participating in a couple of readathons. The first readathon is Jumpstart January, hosted by Mel Nora Reads. It's a lot like Knockout November that Cassidy did from Covers with Cassidy, where essentially your goal is to just jumpstart the month of January and start your 2023 reading goals off to a great start, where you can set a number of books to read and do all those goals. I'm loosely participating in that readathon as we have set my 2023 goals, but I don't know which ones I want to focus on yet in January, and I kind of just want to read in general. So that's kind of an easy readathon to participate in without really having to participate much in it at all. The second readathon that I'm hoping to participate in the month of January is Final Book Support Group. Steph from Steph Love is doing around at the beginning of January in the second weekend of the month, and it's a 48-hour readathon. So I hope to definitely participate in that and actually do more readathons in the month of January, as I'm moving to a different work schedule that would utilize and be really beneficial for me to actually participate in 48-hour readathons. So yeah, let's get on to my tour of the board and my roles for January 2023 TBR Alchemist. Hello everyone and welcome back to TBR Alchemist. So before we begin the roles, let us re-go over the rules of the board. So we have a couple spaces on here. In gameplay we will just follow and go up the pattern until we get to here. When I reach this end last spot, I have a prompt jar full of nice and rewarding prompts. So I will choose a prompt for that when I reach the end of the board. Probably will take me about 2 months to reach it, so that'd be a nice reward every 2 months. D20, I have a list of 20 books. I was going to randomize it, but I think we'll just choose from it until the list is complete. Random, we have a prompt jar, which this comes up, you'll see it. I will essentially choose a book out of that jar. Not all the books that are on my Goodreads Want to Lead list are in that jar yet. I haven't completely finished it, but it's enough to at least do some gameplay with. Childhood, we're going to steal a book off of someone's TBR. I was going to do it for the TBR of the current month that I'm playing the game for, but I now have a playlist of TBRs from months past, and I will just choose a book from there. We'll randomize the video that I choose from, and then I will choose a book off of that TBR, regardless of what month it's for. And I won't randomize it, it'll just have to be I haven't read before. And then for the blank spaces, I have a normal just prompt jar. I am a member of Jade's Patreon, she does Pokefun, so the prompts I will be using for that are from that, because she has a lot, so we will use them here. At the time of filming it, she hasn't updated her newest Pokefun, so these are still the ones from 2022, but it's fine. Once I get the new Pokethon prompt, they will be the ones I will throw in there along with the old prompts. And yeah, let's get started. We are going to be doing 6 rolls today. We're going to be using 1 die. I do have a paper and a sticky note for writing what prompt I get done. You guys don't need to really care about that or know about that, but show it to you anyways. And then my counter is going to be this little angel that a relative made for me a while ago. It worked really well for this type of counter. So yeah, let's get on to roll number 1. One. That is a blank space, so just a normal prompt. So, for roll number 1, we landed on a blank space, and that is to just pick a prompt out of my regular prompt jar, which is this. I'm going to give it a shake, and we're going to choose. I'm not going to hold it up because I think that's weird. You'll just see me do it kind of off screen, but I'll show you which one I pull. This one. All right, we're starting 2023 off with a bang as I got Mewtwo, which is to read an intimidating read. Okay, for roll number 1, we got a blank space, and I pulled Mewtwo, which is to read an intimidating read. And for this, I'm going to go with House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. The only reason why this book I consider it intimidating is the page count. This is the paperback edition. It is a grand total. If you don't include the acknowledgments, as I usually don't, it is a grand total of 799 pages. That's the only reason why I consider this book intimidating. This book is a urban fantasy, romance. I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas before. I'm not entirely certain if I should start with this one either, but I think it's a good place at least to start before I go into more of this series as well in other reads. I kind of want to see what the reading order is, and some people do start with Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I would absolutely love this book because I do love urban fantasy books. I think it'll probably remind me a lot of Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, which is one of my longtime series that I've read from. So yeah, starting off 2023 with Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. Roll number 2. Six. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, a normal prompt. Roll number 2, we got a normal prompt, and we're going to choose from prompt jar again. And that is this one. And we got Blastoise, which is to read a water elemental book. For prompt number 2, we pulled Blastoise, which is to read a water elemental book. And for this, I'm going to be reading The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in this Heroes of Olympus series, which is the follow-up series to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the last book of that being The Last Olympian. Last year, I reread Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, and this year we are going to be rereading, at least continuing with my reread of the Heroes of Olympus series, which is far, at least my opinion, which is a little bit better, as we follow a ton more multiple characters. Last year I reread The Lost Hero, which is the first one, and this year, and this month we are going to be continuing with Son of Neptune, which is book 2. The only reason why this book is mainly using it for the water elemental prop, even though I know it probably won't feature water elemental, is because the main character, Percy Jackson from the Percy Jackson Olympian series, his Greek god and his Greek dad is Poseidon, otherwise known as God of the Sea. So, and Percy does use his sword Riptide and pretty much like fights with water. So I know this book definitely does have those water elementals, isn't it? And also the name of the book is Neptune, which, as you know, is the Roman name for Poseidon. So I think it works for the prompt well. I did have to twist it a little, but it's my game, my rules. I can twist prompts. Rule number 3. This 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, a normal, regular prompt. For rule number 3, we landed on Parasect, which is to read a book with the trope that bugs you. At the time of filming this video, I don't particularly read a lot of romance, and I know there's a lot of tropes that are used in romance books. I really like enemies to lovers, especially if it's done really well. I like friends to lovers, absolutely, especially. It's one of my top favorites. But one romance trope that I've actually never read a book from, that I'm not entirely certain if I'm going to like, is the fake dating trope. Probably if the two couples are, of course, a like match together and they go really well together, probably I will end up liking this trope, but I don't know yet. So for now, we're going to use it as trope to bug me. And for this, I'm going to be reading The Deal, which is the first book in Elle Kennedy's off-campus series. From the description, it looks like it... Okay. Hannah West has finally found someone who turns her on, but while she may be confident in every other area of her life, she's catering around a full set of baggage when it comes to sex and seduction. If she wants to get her crush's attention, she'll have to step out of her comfort zone and make him take notice, even if it means tutoring the annoying, childish, cocky captain of the hockey team in exchange for a pretend date. So definitely, I think it's going to be a fake dating relationship, at least with the word pretend date. It's probably going to be fake dating to romance to lovers, which I'm not entirely certain if I'm going to like. It says... could be oh so good. All Garrett Graham has ever wanted is to play professional hockey after graduation, but his plummeting GPA is threatening everything he's worked so hard for. If helping a sarcastic brunette make another guy jealous will help him secure his position on the team, he's all for it. But when one unexpected kiss leads to the wildest sex of both their lives, it doesn't take long for Garrett to realize that pretend isn't going to cut it. Now he just has to convince Hannah that the man she wants looks a lot like him. So definitely, it sounds like it is a fake dating trope, which I don't know if I'm gonna like. So definitely, it's at least going in a trope that bugs me category. I would put insta-love is definitely a trope that bugs me, but as I'm getting into the romance genre, I don't know if fake dating is going to be one of those tropes I like or if I dislike. And I have read the Him series by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, and I really liked that series, so I'm pretty certain we're probably going to like the off-campus series so far as well. So that is my TBR. Rule number 4. That is 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is random. For prompt 4, we landed on a fun space. And this fun space is, of course, the random. We have here a jar, not completely fully out of all the prompts. It's going to take me a while to fill this, but this is a good starting point, at least for today's video, of all of books I want to read lists. At least that time filling this. If I pull a book here that I've already read, we will pull again, but whatever book I choose, I will read. None of these books that are in here are ones that I have read before, so they're going to be maybe anything that runs off my bookshelf. I can go with... I did not take notes beforehand. There's quite a few in here. We're going to go with... this one. Stuck to me. They're only going to be standalones and first book in series of where I end up. Oh, boy. Alright, so I got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is one of Holly Black's first book series. I've heard they sort of get a little bit interesting from here. I don't own this book physically, so I will be reading it, hopefully. And I kind of want to give Holly Black a try in terms of her book. I'll read the synopsis. Of course I want to be like them. They're beautiful as blades forged in some divine fire. They will live forever. And Carden is even more beautiful than the rest. I hate him more than all the others. I hate him so much that sometimes when I look at him, I can hardly breathe. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, despite her morality. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at the court, she must defy him and face the consequences. As Jude becomes more deeply embroiled in palace intrigues and deceptions, she discovers her own capacity for trickery and bloodshed. But as betrayal threatens to drown the court of Fairy in violence, Jude will need to risk her life in a dangerous alliance to save her sisters and Fairy herself. So definitely a YA fantasy romance series. Definitely from the synopsis, sounds like it's going to be a little bit of possibly enemies to lovers. So I have high hopes for there. As far as Holly Black goes, some people love her writing style, some people hate her writing style. I don't kind of know where I fall. This is my first Holly Black book, so we'll see how it goes. Roll number 5. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A normal prompt. For roll number 5, we landed on a normal space, so I'm going to be choosing a prompt again out of this prompt jar to fill. Be this one. And this is Machop, a book that features STEM, which, if you don't know, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So, book featuring that. For roll number 5, we got Machop, which is a book featuring STEM, and for that, I'm going to be reading the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. As far as I'm aware, this definitely reads science. I was just reading some of the glossary terms in the book, and some of them are definition of words that definitely feature STEM, such as there's volcanoes, there's geysers, definitely STEM. There are, let's see, equatorials featured in here, faults in here. Let's see, engineer of earthworks, geothermal energy, mechanics and tunnels, underground infrastructure, mining, Geomist, one who studies stone, displays natural world. Geographer, scientist. Geomist, study of lithology, chemistry, and geology. Not concerned with the issue. Let's see. Studies stone lore and lost history. Midlife plan, mountains, equatorial maze, bunny ground plan. Metal lore like alchemy and astronomy to create pseudoscience developed by some. We have one who presses orogeny, whether trained or not. Energy is ability to manipulate thermal, kinetic, and related forms of energy. I definitely think it definitely features science. Otherwise, this is probably like Earth science. And what features? So it says the back of the Lord reads this. This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the Great Red Rift. Across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with the murdered son and the missing daughter. It starts with betrayal, a long dormant wound, and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. So yeah, definitely earth science is featured in this book. I'm looking forward to reading this. I think, based on what other people have told me, I think I'm actually going to really enjoy this book if it especially features earth science, which was my minor in college. I really like the concept of earth science, so I think I'm absolutely going to really enjoy this book. And then finally, roll number 6. That is 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, a regular normal. And finally, for roll number 6, we ended on our last normal prompt. Choose here. We're going to be this one. And we got Weeping Bell, which is to read a sad book. Alright, so our last prompt we pulled is Weeping Bell, which is to read a sad book. And there is only one book right now that especially comes to mind, and that is A Little Life by Hanya Nagamura. This, I definitely know, is going to be a sad book. I have heard nothing but good things about this book. It's a little bit of a chunker, but that's okay. I've heard this book is really deep and meaningful and definitely going to be emotionally impactful, which to me screams a sad book. Let's see. I'll read you guys back the blurb. A Little Life follows 4 college classmates, broke, adrift, and buoyed only by their friendship and ambition, as they move to New York in search of fame and fortune. While their relationships, which are tinged by addiction, success, and pride, deepen over the decades, the men are held together by their devotion to the brilliant, enigmatic Jude, a man scarred by an unspeakable childhood trauma, and him to brotherly bonds and a masterful depiction of love in the 21st century. Her stunning novel is about the families we are born into and those that we make for ourselves. Yeah, it definitely sounds like emotional, impactful book that may make me sad. For a lot of people who have watched their YouTube videos of this book does make them cry, which I depict as a sad book anyways, and I think I'm probably going to absolutely enjoy this book. This is my TBR for January 2023. It's a lot of books. It's a lot of big books, actually. Percy Jackson probably won't take me as long to read. I have already read it as a reread. The books that this probably won't take me as long as I think will, because while it is a big book, it is a romance, would take me less time. The Deal probably won't take me that long as all. But the book that'll probably take me the longest will be A Little Life. But I'm really looking forward to these books. Not a lot. I haven't really counted the page count yet, but I really don't care at this point. For what I'm going to do, if I don't actually finish the books on this TBR. We will probably just roll them over into the month of February as well. And when February rolls around, we'll just choose new books at that point. So I think this is an excellent stack to start the year off with. It gets a couple of books that I've gotten recently off and one book that I haven't read off my TBR. And with my ebooks, hopefully it'll be a fun month full of adventure, romance, and emotional pain. Sounds good, start year off with, don't you think? So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, please remember to give this video a like and subscribe for more bookish content from me. Down below in the description box, you will find a link to my Goodreads account and my Storygraph. I hope to keep those graphs updated as well, and eventually you may see more social media accounts get added and uploaded as well this year. I hope to post these videos a video every week for you guys, so this video will hopefully going up somewhere in the beginning of January. I hope you guys have a great 2023, and remember, we are the one within the all.